when our fundamental rights to health care are under attack, what do? We stand up, fight back. So thank you so much for coming out. Rachel Lund is the phenomenal person behind the event tonight. Let's give her a round of applause. My name is Crystal Abel. I'm the Vice President of the Young Democrats in McLean County. I just want to go over a few housekeeping things real quick before we get started. Please stay up on the sidewalks. Don't go into the streets. We also would encourage you all to take a few steps forward if you like, to make sure we can all hear what these amazing candidates and community leaders have to say about this absolutely vital and important issue, not only in our community, but across the entire country. If you brought trash, or if you have any trash with you, please take it with you. Do not leave it. Your posters, masks, bottles of water. We don't want to have city workers have to come out and clean up after us, so please be respectful of each other. Please be respectful of our speakers. Listen attentively, and if there so happens to be anyone that shows up tonight attempting to distract us from why we are here today, we want to keep our attention up front, focus on what is going on up here with our speakers. It's about us, not them. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Rachel.
Hello, test. All right, there we go. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Let's give it up for Crystal Abel tonight. It would also not be possible without her help. So thank you very much, Crystal, in helping me organize this event today. So I think we all know why we are here. Politico has obtained a leaked document to let the American people know that the United States Supreme Court has drafted a majority opinion to overturn Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade is a foundational court decision that protects a woman's rights, federally protected right to an abortion. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Now, I've heard the argument that the Constitution doesn't protect a woman's right to an abortion. Well, personally, I think it would have been written in big, bold letters if women had been allowed to help write the Constitution in the first place. Now, I lived in Virginia when you know who got elected, and I participated in the inaugural Women's March in Washington, D.C. in 2017. Very proud of that. And I know a lot of you here did as well. You all took a bus from Bloomington, Normal, Illinois out to Washington, D.C. On my way home from that event, a male friend of mine called to tell me that he was disappointed in me.
Oh, wow.
A former friend.
Right.
He wanted to know, what rights do women not have already?
Where do you start?
What we need to remember is that women have literally died to get the rights that we currently have under Roe v. Wade. And now people are trying to take those rights away from us. And what I believe all of us are gathered here today is to say together with one voice, loud and clear, that we will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back.
We will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back.
So first of all, I want to say Thank goodness we live in Illinois. Thank goodness. Thank you, Governor J.B. Pritzker. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, for trusting women to make the right decisions, to make the decisions that are best for them and their bodies. Thank you. Thank goodness we live in Illinois. I am so proud to live in this state. By the way, this is my dog Tigger. He's pro-choice. We have an incredible lineup of speakers for you tonight, so I'm going to stop talking. We obviously...
Police documents to the public from the Supreme Court. When we said no one will not go back.
We won't go back. We will not 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 go back.
Okay, all right. Ignore him. Ignore him. Yes. We will not be silenced. We are going to keep moving.
It's going to keep moving forward, not backwards.
All right. So we have an amazing lineup. Obviously, a lot of people have a lot of things to say, and I'm so excited to introduce you all to Latisa Wallace. Former Illinois State Representative, and she is running to be our next Congresswoman for the 17th District.
Good evening, and we will not go back. We will not be silenced. We do not care about the disruption. I saw a sign that exactly states what I plan to do when I get to Congress, and that is to help codify Roe v. Wade into law. Because we will not go back. Anyone who has understood the struggle of women in this country, on this soil, we know that we have not had bodily autonomy. This is especially true for women of color. This is especially true for low-income women. We did not just make abortion illegal. This just made abortion unsafe. And we will not go back. We will not allow this way. No more wire hangers, no more back alley abortions, no hack jobs happening in someone's basement. We will not allow it to happen. And as a strong black woman running for Congress, I will not be silent in the ways that women, people of color, LGBTQAI plus individuals, the disabled individuals of our country, the indigenous people of our country, we will not be silenced. None of us will go back. This crowd right here shows that we will all stand together. We have our men here as allies. We have people from all over who are sure that we work and do what needs to be done to codify Roe v. Wade. This is a very slippery slope. This is a scary precedent. When we look at what happened in the 20th century, the types of legislation passed, the types of cases that helped to destroy things like Dred Scott and Plessy versus Ferguson, the things that we now take for granted, Loving versus Virginia, marriage equality. We will not allow this Supreme Court to set us on a course of undoing all that everyone's ancestors
did, and so many people right here tonight worked so hard to make sure happened in our country. So we will not go back. I'm Leticia Wallace, and I look forward to fighting for you in Congress.
Thank you so much to Leticia Wallace, and I also want you all to know that she is a board member for an organization called Men for Choice. We're going to talk more about them in a minute, but next we have Mother Molly Ward here to speak to you all.
Open our mouths and speak up. There are some people who will tell you that religion and politics don't mix. As an elected official and as a clergy woman, I am here to tell you that that is a lie. And it is also something that I'm here to tell you that apparently the other side doesn't even believe. They think that it's okay to mix religion and politics. And my sister clergy who are here with me will speak on this, I'm sure. But I'm here to tell you that it's time for us who are on this side of things to recognize that we need to let our voices be heard. So to my friends, my fellow progressive friends, who are, I'm speaking to my fellow progressives now. Okay? For those of you who are disappointed, who are bored, who have it in your mind that maybe we haven't gotten everything we wanted in the last year or two, I want to point out to you that elections have consequences. And we are seeing those consequences before our very eyes. So to my progressive friends who think that it is okay to stay home this fall, it's not okay. It's not okay. Elections have consequences, and traditionally in this country, our already pathetic election turnouts actually drop by about 15% at midterm elections. That can't happen this year because elections have consequences. I don't care how bored you are. I don't care if you are disappointed in who's been elected already. The Panagraph ran a very helpful article this morning. If you didn't see it, go find it. It lists all the viewpoints, the responses, the immediate responses of elected officials and people who want to be elected officials in this state, and their viewpoint and what they did after the news broke yesterday. You need to read that article, and as you get out and vote in the primary in June, as you get out and vote in the fall, you need to keep in mind who was dropping to his knees saying, thank you, God, for this news. And what others had to say. And that needs to inform your decision. But most of all, you need to show up at the ballot. Because elections have consequences.
Thank you very, very much. Next we have Carolyn Moon. Carolyn has been a lifelong supporter of Planned Parenthood. She served on the Planned Parenthood of Illinois board for 7 years and the executive committee for 5 years. Carolyn continues to volunteer her time with the Planned Parenthood of Illinois Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion team, recruiting and ensuring that Central Illinois is represented in all of Planned Parenthood of Illinois' decisions. Carolyn Moon, everyone.
Planned Parenthood is furious that the Supreme Court is prepared to end the constitutional right to an abortion by overturning Roe v. Wade. The threat to abortion access in this country is not hypothetical. Our right to abortion is being stolen right now. The consequences of this impending decision will be swift and devastating for communities nationwide. 26 states, it is assumed, will swiftly move to ban abortion, including 13 states with laws that could immediately go into effect. That means that half the people in this country would no longer have power over their own bodies and their own lives. That's right. This is not our first fight, as you know, and it will not be our last. Planned Parenthood has been preparing for this for the last 6 years. We know, and you know, that banning abortion does not take away people's need to access abortion. No matter what happens at the Supreme Court, we're proud to say that if Roe falls, abortion will remain safe and legal in the state of Illinois. Thanks to you. The current 17 health centers in Illinois expect to see 2 to 5 times as many patients as we see now. And many of those people will travel to our health centers here, right here in Central Illinois, which will be their nearest location when their home states ban abortion. We must be ready to meet that demand. Central Illinois, we need you. Central Illinois plays a vital role in this fight, and we need you to stand up and protect reproductive rights in Bloomington, in Springfield, in Champaign, in Peoria, and in Decatur. We need your support now. Vote, volunteer, donate, rally, get your care from Planned Parenthood, and tell your friends that our neighbors need us, and we need you, so that Planned Parenthood can continue to provide essential health care, and abortion is essential health care. We will not back down. Planned Parenthood stands for care, no matter what. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Carol Coos. Carol is chair of the ACLU Central Illinois chapter for McLean, Livingston, and DeWitt counties. Give it up for Carol.
Huh?
Thank you.
I know.
Presenting a statement from the ACLU of Illinois. I quote, "We are not going back to the back alleys." Now is the time to reaffirm our commitment to fight for our fundamental rights. Our right to make the most important and intimate decisions is threatened by a reactionary Supreme Court. Our right to make the most... If the Supreme Court overturns the right to abortion as protected by Roe and Casey, the harm will be felt immediately by millions of people. And this is not only about abortion. The Supreme Court's opinion in Roe is based on the concept that certain individual decisions, who to marry, whether to use birth control, who to marry, whether to individuals, not the government, should make these decisions. And we must be ready for what comes next. If the court issues this decision, abortion soon will be banned in 26 other states. While abortion will not be under immediate threat in 16 states, including the state of Illinois, these forces will not stop. Anti-abortion activists have announced that they will try to implement a national ban. They're looking. On abortion, a measure they hope to achieve after the 2022 midterm elections and 2024 presidential elections, assuming they win control of Congress and the presidency. These repressive efforts will not stop with abortion. This decision will lead to efforts to overturn access to contraception, interracial marriage, and LGBTQ rights. In short, our most fundamental right to decide our own fate, our own place in the world, will be in the hands of a Supreme Court majority that seeks to return us to a repressive past, in which father knows best about birth control, abortion, and marriage. Because the ACLU has anticipated this day, we have worked in Illinois with advocates and elected officials over many years to put protections in place for abortion rights in Illinois and a range of other basic freedoms. This fight, our fight, is not finished. We must recommit to challenging efforts to turn back the clock to repressive legislation, to subjugate individual rights to an obsolete notion of patriarchy and parochialism. Our lives, our future, our children depend on our advocacy. Let's get ready, and please join us for the fight. Thank you very much.
All right, we are pressing on. Next up, I have for you Brandy Elmore. Yes, Brandy is a candidate for the McLean County Board in District 9. And she is the recruitment chair for the Young Democrats in McLean County. Oh, there you are. There she is, Brandy.
Is this better? Yeah. So I don't know how many other people had the same experience I did this morning. I woke up with the dread that I remember feeling about 6 years ago. And that dread is scary. It's scarier now because this was the reason why we had that dread 6 years ago. So we're looking at going back on 50 years of progress that we've made. I have known nothing else other than being protected and being allowed to make choices for my own body. When I was 18, my then husband and I accidentally got pregnant. And I didn't have to make that choice because it ended in a miscarriage. But I don't know if I would even be brave enough to stand up here and tell you if I had made that choice. But I had that choice. And that choice is not a casual choice that anybody makes. Usually, when we have laws that stretch beyond what we think are reasonable, it's usually for the interest of the whole, such as child abuse or neglect or self-harm. But this isn't one of those choices. This is an issue that affects both men and women. It affects every child that is born. And we need to recognize that women have the ability to make that decision for themselves to know what is best for their child if they are financially ready, emotionally ready, mentally ready, if they have the family support to raise a child the way they deserve. I am only here because I have that support. But if I had to make that decision when I was 18 years old, my life would probably be in a very different spot now. And I don't know what I would have chosen. But again, it would have been my choice. And when we talk about abortion, they say it's because it'll reduce the amount of abortions. We know that's not true. It'll reduce the amount of safe abortions.
That's right. That's right.
And if we really want to look at the research, this won't reduce abortions. But what will? Support for working mothers, support for single mothers, health care, basic health care needs, access to contraception. These are the things we should be voting on and spending our energy and time fighting for, not whether we have the right to choose what happens to our body. What man has that option in his health care? So, obviously, I'm trying to convey my anger at this situation. And I know you're all here today because you're angry as well. Yes. So what can we do with that anger?
Vote! Vote!
Vote! Stand out here with each other. Bring your family members, bring your friends. Get involved. Get involved in local campaigns, sign petitions, donate money. Run for office if you have the capacity to. Because at the end of the day, that is why we're standing here today, because we voted, we weren't able to have the representation to vote for who selected our current judges. So even though the midterm season voter outcome is lower, we have to change that because now we see how important that is.
That's right!
And then one last plug. I have chosen to run for office, and I promise I will always vote in favor of protecting women's rights and women's health care. So please vote.
Thank you, Brandy. Thank you. Next up, we have the Honorable Kimberly Cummings. She is my I Will sister. And if you don't know, I Will stands for Illinois Women's Institute for Leadership. So Kimberly, I'm so happy you're here.
As Dr. Lewis and as my I Will sister called and we talked about it a little bit, I had to think about what was my response, or what was it that I wanted to share with you. And most importantly, what I wanted to share with you was a couple personal stories for you guys. I'm a storyteller. For me, this is personal. As a woman of color, as a woman who grew up from a low-income family, I myself might have had to make those decisions once upon a time. I had friends who had to. I also grew up with stories knowing of women who did make those decisions. And some of them didn't have the right, and they had to do the back door way. There's a particular story that stays on my mind to this day. There's a woman who never had children, who had a back door abortion, and it left her infertile.
Oh, wow.
This is what we would have to deal with. And guess what? It would still be on us. So don't let them get you into saying it's on you for having an abortion. It's on you too when a woman is now lifelong infertile. This is personal for me. I suffer with polycystic ovarian syndrome and fibroids. Any woman who knows that, we run a risk every time we try to bear children. And you know what? A doctor told me that many hospitals in this country because they are anti-abortion, will not remove your child if it is a medical emergency even for you. And do you know what this does today? It allows more hospitals to go along with that same mindset. Men, think about your wife, and you have no choice or no say in saving her life. And they have to allow her and the unborn child to die. That is the reality. That's my reality. And that's what scares me about this. I think about all the young women that I left behind in Cleveland, Ohio, who have to make these choices and these decisions. And it goes beyond the fact that they had to make that choice because we already failed them when it came to education. We failed them when it came to healthcare and them being able to have birth control. We failed them long before. We failed them economically, so they can't even afford to raise their children. They can't even afford to put them in daycare. We make it unaffordable to give them free education, but we got to do something with them. You have to choose between a job or putting them in daycare, and neither one of them is affordable for you. And this is the reality of what it is. So what have we left them with? What are we going to do? You're right, it's not going to stop abortions. But what we're going to see is more women dying on tables, kitchen counters, floors and alleys is what we'll see more of. And we've got to fight against that at all costs. All of us, no matter our age, our race, our gender, or our socioeconomic status. This is on all of us.
Thank you, Kimberly. And next up, we have Chynna Dee. Chynna is a current McLean County Board member representing the people of District 8, and she is also the current candidate for the position of Vice Chair of the McLean County Democrats.
I've been trying to think of what I wanted to say all day today. And I can't think of what I want to say, honestly. I think what we see here today is a perfect depiction of what we're dealing with. One measly man's voice to drown out every woman's voice, every woman's choice. You know what? I don't care what he thinks. I don't care what his opinion is. I don't care. I am so sick of this shit. Of this shit. We're not putting up with it anymore. I'm gonna say the quiet thing out loud. Every single Republican in any office needs to go. They are not your friends. They do not give a shit about you. I don't care if you have coffee with them on Sunday. They are voting against your rights on Monday. And they're probably talking about it at dinner Sunday night. When I first started serving on the county board, I never thought there would be a single time that I would ever have to worry about women's reproductive rights in my role in county government. Why would I? But guess what? Every single year, the county renews a lease with Hope Crisis Pregnancy Center to lease space to them. And as long as Republicans are on the county board, that won't change. We are very close to getting the majority on the county board. I believe it can be done. But right now, I know everybody has stressed how important it is to come out and vote in the midterms, and that is so true. But if you are not taking those angry feet and walking 2 blocks down to the McLean County Democrats office and signing up to help with the campaign, don't talk to me. You are not doing enough. I appreciate what you do, but you are not doing enough. I appreciate everybody's tempered response today. That's not me. Anybody who knows me, that's not me. We need to fight. This is a fight, and we need to fight every day because it doesn't stop with reproductive rights. Remember, we still have not ratified the Equal Rights Amendment.
That's right.
They will take everything because they can. And if you are not putting in the work, there's somebody. Oh boy over there, he's doing the work. So you all need to make sure that you're doing the work as well. And I will be there too. If I am elected to serve as vice chair of the McLean County Democrats, I will do it in that capacity, and not I will do it in whatever way. Every Republican needs to go. Period. Let them only have their opportunity made. This is not good time. I want to point out that college Democrats are walking through the crowd. They're going to be getting sign-up information and information to get everybody to help in the campaigns and upcoming elections. Let's do this, guys. We got to do it. Thank you very much.
All right. Still good? Yeah? Okay. We have a few faith leaders with us here today, and you already heard from Mother Molly Ward. Thank you all for being here. With this issue and this topic, I think sometimes it can get lost that, there are only two sides, and that faith and religion is only on one side of this issue. So thank you all very much for being here. And first we have Reverend Dr. Jenny Edwards Bertrand. Yes, she is the lead pastor of Hope United Methodist Church.
Chynna, thank you for saying the quiet things out loud. We need that, and we appreciate you. My call to ministry began when I was 19 years old in a dorm in Normal, Illinois, when another 19-year-old who barely knew me had to be rushed to the hospital because in Illinois, she was in a community where she did not get sex education. She found herself pregnant. She had a back alley abortion. She was bleeding to death. She called me because she said, I don't know you, but you're the only person I know who might drop what you're doing. That is part of my call to ministry, is care for all people. And like you, I have been angry all day.
Yes.
I shared this reflection from an amazing trans theologian who lives in Iowa. I talked to her this afternoon, and she felt so pleased her words would be shared and help us hold space in Bloomington, Illinois. It's divine, it's within each of us. Like a whisper, like a question, like a knowing and an uprising, the divine lures us toward each other, toward collective flourishing, toward power growing from the margins, toward our roots deep in the earth. The universe pulls together in every direction that serves love. Sometimes that direction is abortion. When a woman or a trans man or a non-binary person with a uterus becomes pregnant and must decide how best to foster life. their own and that of their family. And that of this earth breaking under our burdens, God knows. For many, there are few quote-unquote choices available in this racist and this classist and this sexist system. The God of the fringes, the God of the impoverished, the oppressed, condemns every form of coercion, calls a sin every act of control over the bodies of those who ask all the right questions of life and autonomy and future and collective, all of us well-being. Let us not grow weary in claiming our power. Let us not grow weary in professing and practicing our solidarity. I thank the universe, I thank the divine for this collection today.
Okay, both of our next speakers are named Rebecca. First, we're going to have Reverend Rebecca Gant from the Unitarian Universalist Church of Bloomington Normal.
Unitarian Universalists have supported the right to abortion since long before Roe v. Wade was decided. Our faith affirms that all bodies are holy. White, black, brown bodies, trans, queer, straight bodies, and that each of us has bodily autonomy and the ability to choose. If the Supreme Court does indeed overturn Roe, as we suspect, this chapter of our story together has an ending that we don't want. But our story is not over. Our story is about moving toward what Martin Luther King Jr. called the beloved community. Let's write this story together, in which reproductive justice is a part and becomes a reality. Let's write a story where every person has the right to choose whether to have children or whether to not have children. Let's write a story where everyone has the right to make consent decisions about their own bodies. Let's write a story where every parent can raise their children in a safe and sustainable community. Let's write a story in which every person has developmentally appropriate and comprehensive sexuality education. We know that reproductive justice is inextricably linked to racial justice. Reproductive justice is inextricably linked to economic justice, to LGBTQIA justice. So how can you take your part in writing this story? Well, we're here, right? You can vote. We talked about that earlier. You can advocate with letters and showing up. Walk those angry feet where they need to go and raise those voices where they need to be raised. Do the work you've been doing. Get connected now, because we all need all of us to survive. Let's do it.
Next up, we have Rabbi Rebecca Dubow from Moses Montefiore Congregation.
This ruling, this law is made by a minority of religious zealots.
Yes,
It's about democracy.
That's right.
It's about abuse of power.
Yes, it is.
This country is supposed to be a country for atheists, for Buddhists, for Hindus, for Muslims, for every kind of Christian, for every kind of Jew. So, the burning question about when the soul enters the body should not be relevant. And certainly should not be behind how a law is written. simple as that. If you care about poverty, you must care about abortion rights. Young people, black and brown people, LGBTQ plus people, those living in poverty and the victims of rape, intimate partner violence will bear the brunt of this decision. If you care about health care, you must care about abortion rights. Abortion is a medical procedure. Full stop. Abortion must be legal. If you care about violence against women, you must care about abortion rights. Reproductive coercion is often used by abusers to hold their victims in dangerous relationships, affecting an estimated 1 in 10 women. And as we say over and over, my body, my choice!
My body, my choice! My body, my choice!
To have someone claim authority about our bodies is an act of violence. To have someone steal our ability to make decisions based on our own values is an act of oppression. To empower individuals to make decisions about their own bodies and reproductive options is a part of my Jewish beliefs. Forcing people to divorce or to endanger their own lives by seeing unregulated medical procedures is against my Jewish beliefs. We have been able in our power to elect legislators who will protect the right to abortion care. Those who are able to run for office donate to support pro-choice candidates and support access to safe medical interventions like Plan C. The lives of our most vulnerable depend on it. We owe it not to only our daughters, to all people, but to our mothers and grandmothers who marched and fought 50 years ago to fight back. We shall not be afraid nor powerless, but we must speak up and act and offer love and protection for one another as we unify this country for all of us, for all. Be strong, and let us strengthen one another.
That was awesome. Let's get a little My Body, My Choice chant going here, huh? My body, my choice! 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 My body, my choice!
My body, my choice!
Love it. All right. I hope you're still with me. We have 4 more speakers.
My phone's about to die, guys. I gotta go.